Hello everyone. Today we have some amazing news. The reason why Meghan Markle destroyed Prince Harry's relationship with his family. Meghan Markle's grand plan in case of loss of the title. Reconciliation or trap? Prince William agreed to meet with Harry only under strict secrecy. Meghan Harry's escape plan from the royal family. You will learn all the details ahead, but for now, let's start with the first news in which we will find out the reason why Meghan Markle destroyed Prince Harry's relationship with his family. Prince Harry is desperately trying to return to his family. But when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex fled the palace 5 years ago, it seemed like their dream had come true. Fans of the royal family noticed that after receiving her husband's money first and then Elizabeth II's inheritance, Meghan Markle became happier and came up with new ways to increase her capital. But Harry was wasting away. He tried to find something to do, but lost even his most valuable charitable foundation. The last event sobered the prince. He began insistently demanding to see his father. The Duke rushed to London and promised that the conversation with Charles III would be confidential. In the end, the king gave up. Charles III invited his son to his residence. After a separation that lasted a year and a half, the father and son talked for 55 minutes. Was it worth burning bridges, fleeing across the ocean to beg for forgiveness now? Surely Harry and Meghan will answer this question in different ways. Royal biographer Duncan Larcombe, who visited the palace more than once and even communicated with the late Elizabeth II, is sure that Markle was ready to take her husband away from the family at any cost. And the point is not that someone offended the Duchess, but in banal jealousy. It all started on the day Meghan and Kate Middleton met. The American woman did not like the way Prince William's wife treated her. The former actress went crazy when she saw Catherine and Harry chatting sweetly, that they were related. The youngest of the princes was always ready to help Middleton. Markle didn't like such a close friendship. Even before the wedding, Meghan began to plot and try to blacken Kate in Harry's eyes. While we are learning the details of the breakdown of the relationship, I remind you that there is great news ahead. Continue. The scandal that broke out before the wedding was most likely carefully thought out by the American. After all, in fact, flower girl dresses are the last thing a happy bride can worry about. But Meghan seized on this disagreement as a saving straw and inflated it to the scale of a grandiose hysteria. After the wedding of the Duke of Sussex and his beloved, the newly married couple willingly began to appear in public with Prince William and his family. Alas, the smiles and small talk that the muses of the two princes so readily demonstrated in public were not at all evidence of their mutual affection. And after the Sussexes hurriedly left England, rumors of a feud between Middleton and Markle were confirmed. The main blow to Middleton, Markle came from America. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, the prince's wife complained about Kate's difficult character, which the British had considered almost a saint until that moment. And then she added that there was a terrible man living in the palace who was worried about the skin color of Archie's son Archie. The prince gently held his wife's hand during the interview. It was obvious that he was ready to do anything to protect his beloved. And Meghan deftly manipulated and kept distancing the prince from his relatives. Even then, there were suggestions that one of the reasons the Duke and Duchess moved overseas could be Meghan's jealousy of the perfect Kate. And the words of royal expert Duncan Larcombe once again confirmed these suspicions. It's no secret that Prince Harry continues to consider his older brother's wife a close friend, loving this woman with a platonic but very strong love. Next to Kate, the American woman who had become famous felt out of place for a reason. For years, she had to watch her husband's tenderness with such a strong rival. Kate is the last person Meghan would like to see next to Harry. She doesn't like that they had a close family relationship because Meghan's world revolves only around her. I think she struggled with Kate because she couldn't match her example. They never got along, Larcombe is sure. And now we come to the main news for today. But the next news is also no less wonderful, so watch to the end. Meghan Sussex, not Markle, the Duchess's plan in case of loss of the title. Experts are discussing with delight and horror everything that is happening in the royal family of Britain right now. They celebrate the unprecedented boldness of the monarchy. Prince Andrew was not only stripped of his titles, but according to media reports, they are still trying to evict him from his luxury home, even after paying large compensation. Meghan and Harry usually feign a general underdevelopment, but they still understand that they also have a lot of complaints. But if you think that this prospect scares the spouses, you are very mistaken. Insiders tell the tabloids with a smile that Meghan has long developed a plan to turn the temporary title into a permanent family brand. And here, everything is simple. The main thing is to use what we popularly call the second happiness, arrogance. Royal purge, a precedent has been set. The decision to strip Andrew of his titles was historic. The official statement said that this was done in consultation with King Charles and the whole family. An important point, according to press reports, it was Prince William who insisted on this step. This shows that the modern monarchy is ready to sacrifice even close relatives in order to preserve its reputation. And one more thing, William decides. It has weight, they listen to it, give in, bend over, whatever you want. And then a logical question arises. What will prevent William, when he becomes king, from doing the same to Harry and Meghan? Their behavior, of course, cannot be compared with Andrew's cases, but they have long been a source of constant scandals and tension. Tom Sykes, a columnist for the Daily Beast, is sure that William will definitely strip them of their dukedoms. It's only a matter of time. Meghan's stroke of genius, from a duchess to just a Sussex, but Meghan is still a duchess. Like someone in a frying pan, she somehow manages to get out of any situation. Yes, things are getting worse, but she's not at the bottom yet. And what if Meghan has already found a way around this situation? Take a closer look. Her recent public appearances, there is an interesting pattern there. In one of the episodes of her show, With Love Meghan, there was a revealing dialogue. Mindy Kaling's guest on the show called her Meghan Markle. She immediately corrected. "It's funny that you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know I'm Sussex now." It is clear that she was immediately disgusted. She confuses the title and the surname. Too arrogantly, why did she even decide to utter this rebuke about the surname? But today, it seems that it wasn't a casual remark. In a March interview with People magazine, Meghan explained in detail. Sussex is their common family name. Not a title, but a family name that unites her, Harry, and the children. "I didn't realize how important this would be to me until we had children," she said. "I love that this is what Archie, Lily, Harry, and I have together." Furthermore, on the Drew Barrymore show, she was introduced as Meghan Sussex. In an interview with Bloomberg, the journalist tried to find out if this was her legal name. Meghan deftly evaded a direct answer, but emphasized again her legal name is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, but Sussex works as their family name. That is, the royal family gave the title, and Meghan shows her own last name, slightly shortening the word according to the American habit. Why is this necessary? The brand is more important than the title. It seems like a small thing, but in fact it's a brilliant PR move. Meghan is gradually teaching the public that Sussex is not just a title that can be taken away, but a family identity that will stay with them forever. Imagine William becoming king and stripping them of their dukedoms. Formally, they become Harry and Meghan again. But by that time, the Sussex brand will already be firmly associated with them in America. Their foundation, Archewell, is already registered to Harry, Duke of Sussex, and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Their commercial projects, books, performances, everything is tied to this name. Stripping them of their title will damage their reputation, but it won't kill the brand they've worked so hard to build. And who's going to figure it out there? Sussex or Sussex? There is only one route, but the title will stick in the conversation by itself. Life after the monarchy, the California Sussexes. In California, there are no legal obstacles to officially changing her name to Meghan Sussex. Even if the British Crown takes the title, frowns sternly and wags its finger, you can't use such a name. Meghan will talk about her identity and the children who were born with it, and they will live with it. and the American public will continue to call them that. This is exactly what a real strategic victory is. Possible, but still. Meghan is turning a temporary privilege dependent on the royal family into a permanent asset that belongs only to them. Their days as working royals are long gone, but their American businesses, especially the most profitable ones, rely heavily on this magical Sussex prefix. Without her, they're just Harry and Meghan, another celebrity among thousands of others in Hollywood. What is the result? While the royal family is thinking about how to protect the monarchy from scandals, Meghan is protecting her own brand from possible actions by the monarchy. Her strategy is simple and effective: to make sure that even without an official title, they remain Sussexes in the eyes of the public. If this guess is correct, then Meghan has made a real masterstroke. She has turned a royal title that can be taken away into a family identity that can no longer be taken away. Now, no matter what Prince William decides in the future, there will always be a fortress in California called Sussex. And even after the divorce, she will remain the same Meghan Sussex who was once Markle. And if Meghan and her team haven't thought of such a move yet, it will be surprising. Now they will definitely think about it. The royal experts themselves came up with everything for her, chewed it up, and even gave legal advice on British and American laws. Their verdict is that there are no obstacles to such a development. And again, it's amazing. Trying to separate themselves from the monarchy, they cling to its attributes with a death grip. But it is precisely this trick that can ensure their eternal fame, even when the royal palaces remain only a backdrop for their memories. Reconciliation or trap? Prince William agreed to meet with Harry only under strict secrecy. Meghan has her own game. The princes have their own. The tabloids wrote that William decided to meet with his brother and talk anyway. The anniversary of Diana's death is coming soon. We need to show the world that at least at such a moment, two grown men are able to stand side by side and honor their mother's memory. The tabloids wrote that the elder brother had sent negotiators with a list of meeting conditions. But don't expect touching hugs in front of millions.
This meeting is more like an interrogation with a passion, where William acts as an investigator and Harry as a defendant, who will be searched from head to toe before the conversation. Terms of the contract: no Meghan, dictaphones and memoirs unilaterally. I'll set you anything. You can name one condition right off the bat. Have you guessed it? So, what are the paranoid, as the media dubbed them, conditions of the future king? It's as simple as 3 pennies. Absolutely no Meghan Markle. Not anywhere, preferably never. The Duchess of Sussex, who is usually present in Harry's every story as an invisible director, is not invited this time. That's putting it mildly. Apparently, William remembers perfectly well how family conversations end in her presence. Of course, I would also demand not to tell her any details, and not to tell her at all where he went and why. Let him find out everything from the tabloids. But this is unrealistic. No recording devices, voice recorders, smartphones, smartwatches, all this will probably have to be handed in at the entrance. I wonder if there were any jammers where the meeting with Carl took place, or if the prince was watched with passion. William deeply fears that his words could be recorded and used against him, and I must say, his fears have every reason to be. Although the meeting with his father seemed to go smoothly and Harry didn't spill any details to the world. Silence. It's simple, to remain silent and not to talk about the reasons for the meeting. And that, I think, is the most difficult thing for Harry. After the meeting, he will return home to his generator of brilliant ideas, which will require him to make content. William agrees to meet with Harry, but only if everything is strictly on his terms. This means no Meghan, no assistants, and zero chance that it will end with content for a documentary or a book, insiders say. I liked another phrase from those close to me. Harry, in fact, will face a search before the conversation sounds not like a metaphor, but as a humiliating but absolutely necessary procedure. Whistleblower syndrome. Why William no longer believes his brother. What led to the fact that an ordinary conversation between two adult men, brothers, should take place in conditions worthy of meeting residents of warring intelligence services? The answer is simple. Harry has completely exhausted his trust limit. It all started with the memoir, Spare, where Harry accused his brother of physically assaulting him and called his father cold and distant. But recent events have become the last straw. After an already humiliating 54-minute tea party with his father at Clarence's house, which was more like a courtesy call from a distant relative, Harry couldn't resist commenting. No, he did not tell the details of the meeting, but he publicly stated that the court's Grey Cardinals were trying to sabotage his reconciliation with the king. This statement infuriated William. It became the final proof for him. His brother is not able to keep his word and cannot resist taking the trash out of the hut, especially if it can be monetized or used to maintain media interest in his person. William is terrified that anything he says could be distorted and made public. He's not ready to take the risk and expose himself again, the source explains. Trust wasn't just destroyed, it was pulverized, blown to the wind, and auctioned off along with the film rights. Family blackmail, Charles, Kate, and Diana's ghost as peacemakers. Who forced the future king to take this step, even if it was as secure as possible? It turns out that even monarchs are not immune from family pressure. William is influenced by two key characters, King Charles and Princess Kate. Charles, whose leitmotif in recent years has been to preserve the appearance of peace at all costs, simply dreams of the day when his sons will be able to be in the same room without confrontation. Kate's acting is more subtle. According to insiders, she reminds William that their mother, Princess Diana, would be devastated to see them in such a state. She urges him to rise above the situation and take the first step. The use of the late princess's name and supposed feelings is an argument against which William seems to have no defense. However, there is a nuance that is extremely difficult to ignore: Meghan Markle. Everyone wants reconciliation with Harry, but no one wants to see or hear from his wife. And so far, no one has figured out how to separate this couple and at the same time avoid scandals. Trap or reconciliation? William's stroke of genius. The most cynical thing about this story is that William himself may not believe in the success of this venture. His ultimatum is regarded at court not as a gesture of reconciliation, but a cunning trap. William is fully aware that by putting forward such harsh conditions, he is making it difficult for Harry to agree. But it's part of the plan. It gives him cover. If Harry refuses, William will still be able to say that he tried, reveals a palace insider. It's brilliant to some extent. William gives his brother a choice. Either you come on my terms and prove that you are interested in a real relationship, not PR, or you refuse, and then all the blame for the failure of reconciliation falls on you. Their next meeting may take place as early as December. The courtiers are supposedly looking for neutral places, away from prying eyes. But one thing is clear: this will not be a warm family meeting, but a cold assessment of the damage. William is not seeking a staged reunion or any kind of photo moment. He just wants to look Harry in the eye and see if there's still a relationship worth saving, the source concludes. Once close brothers are now forced to meet as spies, and the only currency between them is not trust and love, but mutual suspicion and terms of surrender. And if William hears Meghan's name during the conversation or suspects something is wrong, he will turn around and leave instantly. Because kings, even future kings, don't forgive twice. How Meghan Markle and Prince Harry planned to escape the royal family from their fortified Vancouver mansion in 2019. It was an idyllic place where they secretly dated for 5 months before the whole world found out about their relationship. Therefore, it is not surprising that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle decided to make Canada their permanent home. However, what was originally intended as a safe base for the Duke and Duchess soon turned into a place where they carefully planned their departure from the company. In October 2019, Harry and Meghan announced that they were going to take a long break from royal duties in order to devote time to the family they so much need. Kensington Palace later confirmed that the couple were spending time away from the limelight in Canada and that instead of celebrating with the royal family at Sandringham, they would spend the holidays with Meghan's mother, Doria. But instead of just taking a break, they went to Canada where they had a strategic base to plan their sensational departure from royal positions, which later became known as Megxit. When the couple settled into Mill Flowers, their $14 million waterfront mansion located on Vancouver Island, Meghan, who now lived in the same time zone as Los Angeles, was finally able to resume her business activities and wasted no time. Royal author Tom Bauer explains in his book Revenge that after the royal couple arrived in Canada, Meghan was constantly in touch with a tactical group of supporters. Among them were Andrew Meyer, her business manager, Rick Jeno, her lawyer, as well as Kelly Thomas Morgan and other employees of Sunshine Sachs, a public relations company that has worked closely with Meghan since the beginning of her acting career. But the most important thing for Meghan, Mr.
Bauer adds, was the continued negotiations with Netflix and Spotify, as well as the re-registration of Frim Fram Inc., the company behind her lifestyle blog Tig, which she ran for almost 3 years. Instead of relaxing in her idyllic Canadian country house, the Duchess was actually working hard, desperately trying to plan for the Sussexes' future. On October 22nd of the same year, she re-registered Frim Fram Inc. in the U.S. state of Delaware, as well as the new Archwell Foundation, founded by her and Harry in the same state. Meanwhile, the Sussexes' longtime lawyer, Richard Jeno, also registered a corporation in Delaware called Loving Kindness Senior Care Management Inc. But this was not a coincidence, but it became a thoughtful and really profitable business move. Delaware guaranteed the confidentiality of financial activities and corporate accounts, explains Mr. Bauer. In line with the Duchess's business approach, Sussex Royal, the company that handled Harry and Meghan's work processes, has applied for trademark registrations for a range of products, including sportswear, pens, and emotional support services. However, despite the fact that rumors of a growing rift between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family gradually began to spread, few people knew about Meghan and Harry's long-term plan to move to California. And keen-eyed royal fanatics may have been slightly concerned by Prince Andrew's sensational interview with Emily Maitlis on BBC Newsnight, in which he discussed his friendship with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. As Mr. Bauer rightly points out, the world had no idea that the curtain was rising on another crisis, and the late Queen was forced to act quickly and decisively to save the remaining family members. And by Christmas 2019, cracks began to appear in the fabulous family that had welcomed Meghan with open arms just a few months ago. When the late Queen Elizabeth II addressed the nation with her annual holiday message, not a single family picture was visible on the screen next to her. This was the first sign that the Sussexes would soon leave office. Since the Queen's first Christmas telecast in 1957, every such broadcast has been carefully planned, including, of course, the selection of family photographs that are strategically placed on the table next to her or on nearby tables. However, their purpose does not change. They reflect her thoughts on things of special importance, and 2019 was no exception. Despite the fact that Meghan and Harry had been unhappy with each other for some time, the Queen was faithful to the long-standing royal mantra of never complain, never explain, which meant she could not talk to the public about family matters. The subtext of the Sussexes' disappearance was obvious. Royal expert Tina Brown stated that their image was carved as skillfully as Stalin would have done with an apparatchik who had fallen out of favor. Although the Queen stood in the background at the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan a year earlier, in December 2019, only those who were in the direct line of succession got into the frame. The Sussexes, along with little Prince Archie, were, according to Mr. Bauer, erased from history. Then a new royal portrait was officially unveiled, timed to coincide with the beginning of the new decade. It depicted a stripped-down version of the monarchy, including the first 3 heirs to the throne. In a royal setting, the late Queen, Prince Charles, Prince William, and the young Prince George smiled sincerely at the camera. It is important to note that neither Prince Harry nor his son Archie were in the picture.
And according to Mr. Bauer, it was a conscious choice. Realizing that the future of the monarchy could be in danger, she took everything into her own hands. The irritants, especially Andrew and Harry, will be eliminated earlier than planned, he wrote.
And perhaps to throw people off the scent, on December 31, the couple posted a charming photo of Prince Harry with little Prince Archie by the water in Vancouver on their now-defunct Instagram account. The post was accompanied by a Happy New Year message to subscribers. I wish you all a Happy New Year and thank you for your continued support. Then, on January 7, the royal couple returned from Canada to visit the Canadian House in London and personally thank the country's High Commissioner for their hospitality. It's quite sad that they left their little son and 2 dogs. Celebrating their first and, as it turned out, one of the last official appearances in the new decade, they wanted to publicly express their gratitude to the Commonwealth country for hosting them during such a long private break over Christmas. But their trip to Canada, as it turned out, was just a foretaste of what was to come. The next day, Harry and Meghan announced that they were giving up royal duties. After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have decided this year to begin the transition to a new progressive role in this institution, the couple wrote on their Instagram page. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work towards becoming financially independent while continuing to provide full support to Her Majesty the Queen. They further announced their plans to spend time alternately in the UK and North America and focus on the next chapter, taking on a new progressive role. This was the bitter end of Britain's short-lived romance with Meghan Markle, who brought a Californian spirit of adventurism to the monarchy. The decision also marked the beginning of the end of Harry's once inseparable relationship with his brother Prince William. For some time, there were rumors that Meghan and Harry were unhappy in their marriage, and after they separated from William's family in March 2019, they continued to express a desire to live a different life. In October of the same year, Meghan gave a sensational interview to ITV in South Africa, in which she admitted that she really had a hard time. Behind the scenes, intense negotiations were underway about their desire to take a new, independent place in royal life. But few people could have imagined that Canada would become a springboard for such a stormy decision that would forever change the position of the monarchy. Their bold move to renounce royal duties forced the Queen to gather him and her heirs, Charles and William, at a round table on January 13th to discuss the future of the monarchy. When the world's attention was focused on this unprecedented event, the press called it the Sandringham Summit. Many media vans and satellite dishes gathered in the area to cover this momentous moment. It was there that it was officially announced that Harry and Meghan were leaving their post. Although there were rumors at first that the couple might move to Canada, they quickly dissipated when they began to settle into their new life in a spacious mansion in Montecito, California. Nevertheless, their connection to Canada remained key for many years after they left the UK and were eventually forced to sever ties with their former Windsor home, Frogmore Cottage. Speaking earlier this year to participants of the Undefeated Games, which were scheduled to take place in Vancouver and Whistler, the prince said that Canada has been very, very kind to my wife all these years and has been very kind to us too. After sharing his deep affection for the country, Harry even shared more details about their life in Canada during that brief period of respite when they were planning their departure. It is not surprising that this country is so dear to the prince because it was there that he made the fateful decision to leave his usual life. Speaking about this short period, the prince added, "Of course, in 2020, it was great for us to be in Canada, on Vancouver Island, with Archie, hiking in the surrounding area and feeling protected by them. We stayed there for more than 6 weeks before someone found out. We were constantly bumping into people. No one told anyone. I think they told others, but there's not a lot of media and paparazzi on Vancouver Island. Perhaps it was thanks to the strategic planning they carried out while in Canada that the Sussexes have since built their lives in such a way that it has a place for Netflix series, books, brands, leading a healthy lifestyle, and numerous charitable projects." And although the couple said goodbye to Canadian life shortly after the sensational announcement of Megxit, it seems that they will always maintain a close connection with the country that first gave them freedom from the firm.